BookTube, welcome back to my channel. It is Friday, November 8th. We're here to do a quick Friday Reads check-in. Last Friday Reads video, I introduced you to Baby Brown, and so many of you left such beautiful comments and sent us your overwhelming love and support. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who commented. I still haven't gotten back to responding to those comments, but I read them all. I love them all. I smiled at them all. Thank you so much for loving on me and the baby. And just want to say thank you. We're here, of course, into the second week of being home with the baby. So, of course, baby has been influencing my reading. I am trying to read some adult books, but I'm still also reading baby books. So you'll hear more about both of those kinds of readings coming up. This being November, we're doing nonfiction November, so I'm trying to read a couple of the nonfiction books that were on my TBR. I started with Into Thin Air by Jon Krakauer, and this is the personal account of the Mount Everest disaster that happened in 1996. Jon Krakauer was a journalist who was offered an assignment to go to base camp and write about what he saw of the climbers climbing Everest. And he refused the assignment. He said he couldn't go all the way to base camp and then not try to climb to the summit himself. Being someone who had grown up knowing climbers, he'd been an avid mountaineer for most of his life, but he never really had a dream of climbing Everest until this kind of took him back full circle. And he asked the magazine to delay the assignment, not give him the assignment now, but give him a year to train and prepare and to climb the summit himself. And they did. They fronted the money for the climb. And so a year after the magazine first approached him, he made the journey. And this book is the record of what happens on that journey. It was a tragic journey where a lot of the climbers, experienced men and Sherpas, lost their lives. And when Krakauer came back and filed his magazine article, even though they gave him a lot more space in the magazine, he found that he had a lot more to say. And so this book is the record of his experience. And I'm not that far in. I'm only at about page 60. But I'm finding this to be such a gripping account of a personal story. It is a memoir. At the place where I'm at, he hasn't really started talking about the tragedy. He's leading up to it. He's talking about how you prepare, how people prepare, why people go to Everest. He gave a little bit of background of the different ways to climb Mount Everest, the different entrances, one from Nepal, one from Tibet, and how the political situation in those two countries allowed people to climb or prevented people to climb the mountain in history. And I'm finding this to be such an interesting story that even before we get to what happened in 1996, everything that he is saying is new to me. I didn't know too much. I didn't know anything about this disaster really going in. So I'm finding this to be a captivating read. And when I mentioned this in my Nonfiction November TBR video, a few of you told me that you had read it and you would recommend it. So thank you for convincing me that I should pick this one up. I've had it on my shelves for a while now, and hopefully this week maybe I'll finish it and I'll be able to tell you more about it in my next Friday Reads video or during the vlog. I'm actually doing vlogs. I've been editing my vlogs. They're a little bit behind, so tomorrow I think I've scheduled my vlog for last week to go up, and then this week's vlog will probably go up on Sunday. So you'll hear more about my reading this either in the vlog or my next Friday Reads check-in. And I forgot to mention, Into Thin Air is to respond to the sport prompt in Olive's challenge of how to pick books for the Nonfiction November TBR. The other book that I wanted to start this week but didn't was The Prince by Nicola Machiavelli. This has other writings. This is a Barnes & Noble classic edition. And I got this one from my husband's bookshelves. Like it says in the title, it has other writings by Machiavelli. But The Prince is the first 115 pages or so. And I was hoping to get to this. I haven't yet, but maybe over the weekend I'll start it. I don't know too much about what it is about, but you'll hear more about it soon. The Prince, yeah, it says it's a cornerstone of modern political theory. I know that's what everybody says it is. I'm hoping that I'll find a little bit more. I don't know. We'll see when I get to it. Next book that I read this week was a free copy that I got from the author. In exchange for a review, Rebecca Rosenberg wrote this historical fiction novel called Gold Digger, The Remarkable Baby Doe Tabor. And this one is historical fiction. It is based on a real life character. Baby Doe Tabor was a young woman who, when her family's finances fell into dire straits, they married her off to the son of a wealthy man. They were moving west to go gold prospecting, and the hope was that Baby Doe Tabor, well, she wasn't called Baby Doe at that time, but the hope was that she would go there, get rich, and be able to rescue her family's finances. That didn't quite happen. In fact, her marriage didn't last, and eventually she leaves her husband and takes up with a married older man. And the story is very interesting because it explores a lot of different themes, one of which is how women are viewed both from the outside society, but also how women saw themselves during this time. The novel is set in the 1880s, and we get a multi-perspective look at womanhood from Baby Doe herself, but also from the wife of the man that she eventually begins this affair with. And it's interesting how these two different women see themselves in different ways, and how Rebecca Rosenberg brought about the story of womanhood through this unlikely tale, unlikely feminist tale. Baby Doe Tabor is a real life person, like I said, and kudos to Rosenberg for bringing a story, a real life story, to a new audience. I wouldn't have known about this character if not for this book. And the book was also really well written. I enjoyed reading the story. It was gripping in a way that sometimes indie published novels aren't. I really like this story. So kudos to Rebecca Rosenberg and TLC Tours for putting me in touch with the author. And I like supporting, indie authors. I'm an indie author myself, so I was happy to have read this one, and you'll hear more about it, or you'll see more of me talking about it in the vlog that I posted for this week, which is going to be coming on the channel in a couple of days. Speaking of baby books, this one wanted to make a little appearance. She wanted to tell you about the books that she was reading this week, right? Is that what you wanted to do? We've been reading 2 books together, even though we have a lot of books. At my baby shower, no, you can't feed on the camera. We gotta do that later. For my baby shower, my cousins put together a shower for us when the baby was coming, and they asked people to bring their favorite children's books. So we have a lot of children's books that we haven't even started to explore the gamut of them yet. But we started with these 2, Are You My Mother by D.Eastman, and a book that I got from my sister-in-law, which she has a 4-month-old baby, and she says these high contrast books are fantastic because at this age the babies see in black and white, or they see high contrast better than anything else. So she recommended these high contrast books. And okay, Punky. Okay, all right. So those are the 2 books that we started reading this week. So Are You My Mother actually has a story. It's about a baby bird who gets separated from his mother, and he is asking all these other animals, are you my mother, until he eventually gets reunited with his mom. And it's so interesting because we're reading this book, and my daughter, she does not like to be separated from me. The high contrast book, Cluck and Moo, it's just about the different sounds that farm animals make. And so we've been going through and making the animal sounds and talking about, abstractly what animals are like. She has no concept of animals. She hasn't seen animals yet. But someday soon she will. My parents have a farm in Jamaica, and at some point we'll go visit them and she'll see all those animals. So that's been my week of reading, my first full week at home with the baby. And how it's influenced my reading, you'll see that in this video as well as the vlogs that I'll be posting in the next few days. So I hope you'll come back and watch those. Subscribe if you haven't already. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. And let's talk in the comments. I'd love to know how your nonfiction reading is going. For those of you doing NaNoWriMo this year, this is my first year in a long time that I haven't participated in NaNoWriMo, but there is no way that I could even think about writing a novel or the first 50,000 words of a novel right now. I don't even know. I haven't even written a journal entry in so long. So love to talk with you in the comments. Let's talk down there, and until next time, happy reading. Bye.